Welcome to a Healing Peace podcast. My name is Kimir Baker. I am an overcomer, writer, speaker, and God enthusiast. I am fueled by helping women achieve their emotional healing so that they can live the abundant life God has for them. In this podcast series, we provide faith-based inspiration to mend from emotional hurt, along with tools and tips for emotional wellness. In your journey, as you apply these tools and tips, you will begin to live the transformed life that you always desired. In fact, you will possess a new you. We meet again. I will say that our weekly meetings come very quickly. I feel like I'm always talking. Talk. I'll be honest, I do enjoy talking. Thank you very much. Despite my chatter, I hope that what we have discussed so far for our 2020 year has strengthened, renewed, and inspired your spirits. I must admit that this has been a very, very, very interesting year. When we started, most people discussed all the new possibilities for the year. Why? It marked 2020 as in 2020 vision. A vision of clarity, a vision of purpose, a vision of the unthinkable. Well, I will say the unthinkable has happened with the pandemic. It has been tough. I shared with someone earlier this week how happy I was. Yes, I was very happy when I went to the grocery store and chicken was in stock. For weeks, I was living like a vegetarian because there was no good meat left over. Everything that was left was like, I don't want to die from eating that. It didn't even look right. But when that chicken came, I remember I was talking to everyone in the store. I walked around, hey, I got chicken. Hey, I got chicken. And of course, people just looked at me like I lost my mind. They nodded a couple times and was like, what in the world? But I was like, you don't know what I just been through. I've been waiting for a long time to no longer be a vegetarian. And even in the chicken, that whole toilet paper situation, I tell you what, it's going to be a long time before toilet paper goes on sale again. Whew. Despite my stories, I'm pretty sure that you have your own stories about adjusting to what was previously in abundance. I could go on and on about our new lifestyle, not to add the social distance piece. But I'm going to bring that back in a little bit, and I want to delve into this week's episode. Let's get to it. Earlier this week, I had a conversation with my mom. She's been learning about the power of the tongue. She discussed how life and death reside in what we speak to ourselves and one another. I know as you listen to Mom, you probably didn't realize that what we talked about was going to make it to the podcast. It has. I digress. I will admit that it can be difficult to speak good things to ourselves on a consistent basis, not just like once a day, but like throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month. It's hard, especially when there's chaos around us. Remember the previous episode, I Will Believe What the Bible Says, where I discussed overcoming negative thinking by infusing good within us. One element of good is speaking scripture into your life. Sometimes I will have to say sometimes it's hard to go to scriptures or seek God's face when our emotions or circumstances bombard us. It's just a reality. As I say this, I want to echo that you're not alone in this experience, whether thinking or being. We all have those moments where we are wrestling in this manner. But just to reveal how common we are, I would like to ask you some questions. I believe that we have asked ourselves these things at one point or another. Here we go. Have you ever thought that you were not good enough? Have you ever felt that you could not make it or that you were about to lose it all? Or on those good days, have you ever stated that God is healing you? In fact, the way that He is going about it is actually a miracle. Or have you noticed that despite what is going on during life, God is not dependent on mortal man? Maybe you have asked God to have favor on you and your family and your children, and even got a little bit more bodacious and said, my children's children. God, give us favor, please. Or how about now in this pandemic? You were like, God, I'm trying to hold on and get my strength from you. I guess this is not a question, but a statement of power, a statement of redemption. How about that? You may be wondering, Kim Mary, why all the questions? I do got a point. I got a point. I got a point. So you probably like, I got enough on my plate than to be pondering over all these questions, trying to answer them. And in fact, as I'm trying to answer them, it's actually kind of making me sad a little bit. I get it. I get it. I get it. All right, I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna get to the point. Get to the point. Getting to the point. These questions actually come from music lyrics. Yes, good old music. The first question of have you ever thought that you were not good enough? Laura Daigle sings about this in her song, You Say. In the song, she expresses those crazy thoughts that wander in our mind. Painful, painful. She does a good job of acknowledging, well, I don't know if it's a good job, but she acknowledges that she doesn't feel good enough or loved, weak even, and sometimes just falling short all the time. Just, just, just falling short. Despite all those feelings, despite all those things going on in her mind, she pleads to God to be reminded of who she is in Him. She sings about finding her worth despite her emotions. The second question, have you ever felt that you cannot make it or that you're about to lose everything? I think we all have been there at some point. And even now, as things continually progressing and not wondering how long this is going to be, or the question of not being able to work, and I mean, your mind just keeps going and keeps going. Well, somebody else has been there and sung about it. That is Marvin Sapp. He sings in his song, Never Could Have Made It. In the song, he too acknowledges those crazy thoughts and experiences. In fact, I'm trying to sing it, but I'm not gonna sing it. But throughout the song, he also knows that it is God who brought him through it all. And if it wasn't for God, he would be just a little bit cuckoo, cuckoo. I know we had our moments where we were like, whoa, we just feeling a little crazy, just jumping off the walls. We got those moments. But one thing he does in the song is that he reveals that those bad situations actually made him stronger. Ooh, that's powerful. And you know what? It takes time to get to that understanding that at the end of it all, you are a stronger person because of the situations and the circumstances that you endured, but you came out. That's what he's talking about. I came out because of God's power. Like I said, we do have good days. And on those good days, do we acknowledge that God is a healer and a miracle worker? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This too is a song by Leland called Waymaker. In fact, they do got t-shirts out and like journals that talks about God being away because of this song. Powerful, powerful. But in the song, he lets us know that God keeps his promises and that he is always working. I know it's hard with everything that is going on to think that God is working through all of this chaos. But Leland, he sings proudly that yes, God truly is. Put put the exclamation point on that. Yes. Drop that mic. Yes. He's working it out. Yes. Okay, I'm getting carried away. Sorry. Bring it back. Bring it back. What about my question of God not being dependent on mortal man? Guess what, you guys? Someone sung about this too. I think we're seeing the pattern. Yes, there's a pattern. In William McDowell's song, You Are God Alone, he reveals the glory of God. God sits on the throne. He does not depend on us, or better yet, God is so big, so big that he is not created by us. Thank you very much. He is not limited by who we are. He is not confined by our restrictions. And what's the importance of us knowing this about God? If we allow it, it can put our hearts and minds at peace because we know that no matter what, despite our circumstances, God is always there. That means despite how others treat us or our conditions, God goes beyond what we can hope for or imagine. He tells us, that's God, that we can do greater things even though we feel terrible. Why? Because of his power. Thank you, William, and for highlighting something good. Not only highlighting, but allowing us to sing it with you. Mm-hmm. Let's keep going. We want favor. I don't know anybody else who don't want favor. Yes, we do. And I know you guys, you have been stuck with your family members and in certain situations not been able to get to them. In those moments, I know we ask for God's favor and goodness for us and them. Who else asked for this favor or allowed us to know that we possess this favor? Well, I'm glad you asked. That is Carrie Job and Cody Carnes, who sing The Blessing. This song is great. We get to know that God's face shines upon us and He is gracious to us. But not only gracious, but this graciousness, what a word, and favor lasts to all of our generations. 1,000, in fact. Who does not want to say this and consider this throughout the day? He's shouting, favor, my kids all right, family all right, all right. So God, He working out, He working out. I digress. I'm sure we've been getting carried away in this episode. Okay, get back. Lastly, but not least, we all have said, I'm trying to hold on. But I just don't want to hold on. I want to renew my strength. Yes, Fred Hammond sings it so well in They That Wait. As we hold on, we wait on God. As we are waiting, we know that God cares and will answer our pleas. At the end of it all, we will be strengthened. What powerful words. It is clear that what we say to ourselves contain the power of life and death. In music, we have all of these great reminders for expressing the power of life. Anyways, I love me some music. In fact, at one point, I thought I was going to go into the music industry. I talked about that during the radio interview that Keisha Simone had with me earlier this year. Anyways, music tells a story and it sounds good at the same time. Get you moving a little bit. These lyrics, you hear people fight through their insecurities, challenges, fatigue, and everything else. But they always come out on the end because they held on to God. Since we have a lot of free time on our hands, I thought it'd be kind of cool if you guys go find out who these people are, who wrote these wonderful lyrics. Go to ahealingpeace.com. That's with a healingpeace.com. Search for this episode and you will see the artists who I just read off. But I want you guys to know that with these lyrics and the things that they sing about, that this is an opportunity for you to sing along, say these things out loud, sing with the music. And by doing so, saying positive things, reinforcing those good things in your being. I've been listening to it all week since I had this idea, to be honest, and I've put on repeat. I'm one of those repeat people. And this Friday, I'm actually going to release the music track. I'm quite proud of what I put together, my little mixtape. And I would say it's been a while since I did a little mixtape. Why? Because we got the playlist, the digital music, everything else done for you. But when I was doing this, I was like, wait a minute, this reminds me when I was young. In fact, a friend of mine, she was talking about it. We were talking about making those mixtapes from songs on the radio. I'm really showing my age on that one. But yes, people, we've come a long way. Thank you, technology. Anyways, on Friday, I will release the playlist put together. Just feel free just to sing along with it and play it over and infuse that positive thinking and sway a little bit, dance a little bit, shake it off. It's always good to get moving. I know we're kind of confined, so good music really helps during this time. Not only come back on Friday for the playlist, but next week, I'm really excited because I invited a friend to the podcast and we're going to discuss keeping our minds while dealing with this isolation. Come back.